Hey there, Knicks fans. We are so excited to announce that Fanatics Fest is back in New York City this summer, taking over the Jacob Javits Center from Thursday, July 16th to Sunday, July 19th. You can meet your favorite athletes from every major league, including current Knicks like Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Karl Anthony Towns, and the legend, my guy, Patrick Ewing. Catch live podcasts and panels featuring some of the biggest names in sports, while experiencing interactive activations from top leagues and brands. You could also grab exclusive merch and discover one-of-a-kind memorabilia from sports and entertainment, buy, sell, and trade collectibles with hundreds of top dealers, and best of all, connect with fans from around the world who share your passion for sports. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com, and when you use that promo code Knicks Film 10 at checkout, you will get 10% off your purchase. How about that? It's an extra day of the world's #1 sports fan festival coming together under one roof, and you will not want to miss it. All righty. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show, presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. It is your boy, Jonathan Macri here. Boy, that's why you got to watch till the very end. Doesn't matter if it is the Washington Wizards in the middle of March. You never know what's going to happen in a Knicks game, especially a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden. There might just be a Tyler Kolek sideshow that is going to break out, and that's how this one ended. Let's talk about this game for as much as there's not going to be much to say about it. But here's where I want to start. The Knicks, this is their 6th win in a row. Obviously, I think somebody said it in the newsletter comments. Maybe I forget who said it. Somebody was like, pretty sure we can affirm that this is the worst 5-game winning streak in the history of the NBA. I think tonight was a little bit better. But if we're being honest, did the Knicks play great basketball tonight? No, I don't think the Knicks played great tonight. They played well enough to walk away with this one without much stress, really without any stress. And I thought it would be the most appropriate way to kind of open this one would be just with a reminder or a grounding moment, maybe is the better way to say it, for anyone, as I imagine most people listening here are, unless you're, 8 or 9-year-old kid who just picked up Knicks fandom like when they were 3 or 4. Anyone who experienced being a fan of this team really any time between the years of 2001 to 2020, give or take a couple of years in the middle there where Melo made things fun. But if you were a fan during that time, especially some of the really lean years, and somebody said to you, there will be a day that will come where this Knicks team, same owner, same everything, this Knicks team would win a game by 32 points over another NBA team, not like an exhibition game against like Shanghai or something, like 32 points over another NBA team to go, what do they go, 22 games over 500? I think that's right. And for their 6th win in a row, and yet nobody would be particularly impressed. Knicks fans wouldn't be impressed. National media wouldn't even bat an eyelash. And they would be able to achieve those accomplishments without even playing like all that well. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. And I don't, look, there's been a lot of conversation over the last year and change about anytime the team goes through some tough times, people like me will have a crash out and say some harsh things. And obviously I'm not the only one, but whatever, things get said. And then you'll get the wise sage folks among us will be like, listen, let's keep things in perspective. Where this team is at is pretty good. And I think that's kind of the perspective I'm taking right now. 6 wins in a row. Again, 32-point victory over, just an abhorrent. We thought the Nets were an abhorrent basketball team 2 nights ago. This is a really abhorrent basketball team. Trying very hard to be abhorrent, we should add. But yeah, it's a good place to be if you're a fan of the Knicks. Are things perfect? No. Are they the best team in the league? Probably not. If as I have Boston, Minnesota on in a tight game, top of the fourth quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, Boston is up by 1. Minnesota's fighting hard without Anthony Edwards. I'll keep people updated on the score of this game as it keeps going along. I could absolutely see a world where Knicks are not favored in round 2 if they wind up facing the Celtics. So it's not perfect, and it's been a kind of a slow build to this, and the feeling like, hey, we're supposed to be like fully minted contenders, and I think the reason why you get moments where people are really upset is because it feels like, well, what have we been waiting for? Because that doesn't seem like what they are. But again, trying to just keep everything in perspective. It's a really good basketball team, and I think they reminded you of it. Not that we really needed reminding or should have needed reminding, but they reminded you of it tonight. As far as thoughts on this game, I don't really know how anyone could draw any conclusions about much of anything against this Wizards team, much like it was hard to. The only conclusions that we've drawn in the previous 5 games, which have been battles at some point or another, is just that, is it that the Knicks aren't taking these things seriously, or the Knicks actually just they don't have it in them to take things serious as much as they can. Any conclusions we drew was speculation about well, if it's this hard to beat this team, what does that say about us? Knicks, I think tonight, showed you that they're kind of ready for this season, the regular season, to be over. And I think they're ready to get going with these last 10 games and hopefully make a move up the standings if that's something that's important to them, which we hope it is. As far as other conclusions, we could go through them real quick. Karl Anthony Towns, a man amongst boys. He's really been a man amongst boys for quite some time now. He has been the team's best offensive player since the All-Star break. I don't even think that's much of a conversation. He's been playing at an All-NBA level since the All-Star break. And, I think, I forget who Zach Lowe was on with the other day, but they, did kind of not even tentative All-NBA teams, but kind of went through the locks, who's first team tentatively, who's second team tentatively, and then went through a list of guys who were kind of making late pushes, and Towns was one of the guys he listed making a late push. This is a very real push that Towns is making for All-NBA, and if he keeps this up over the last 10 games, especially considering there might be another guy or two who is not going to qualify, depending on how a few injury situations go. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is a question mark. Cade Cunningham, we hope he gets better, but he's a question mark now. Some of these other guys are, 2 games up on the 65-game pace. He just can't be stopped right now. So 26 and 16 and 26 freaking minutes, pretty good. Josh Hart continues to not miss 3-pointers. He has now made 9 consecutive threes. Not a great time right now for the Josh Hart haters cottage industry, but hey, Josh Hart's gonna Josh Hart, so you can't hold him down for very long. He's feeling it. He's playing with confidence. I just hope to God that this confidence carries over until the playoffs, because a confident Josh Hart is that's a top 50 NBA player, top 40, top 50, something along those lines. So That's awesome to see. It was good to see Mikal Bridges get off the schneid. Thank you very much, Andrew Claudio. We'll get to that in a bit. Bridges looked, I would say, the most like himself that we've seen him in 8 to 10 games, something around that range. Only had 14 points, 6 of 11 shooting, but it was like, this is a typical Mikal Bridges stat line. Had 6 assists, which is very nice. Team high plus 28, so you love to see that. So good job on Mikal Bridges. Jalen, so it's funny at halftime, because Jalen started off hot, and then he finished the first half cold, and I wrote down, I was like, JB 3 for 8 on 2-point field goals. I don't think he if he got to the line in the first half, he didn't get there much. I mean, he shot 3 free throws the whole game. Finishes, do some quick math, 7 for 14 on 2-point field goals. I thought he got it back a little bit in the second half. Look, I was not worried about Jalen Brunson after the net game. I just thought Jalen Brunson didn't look healthy. He looked healthy in this game, which was good to see, and hopefully his ankle is okay after I forget which Wizards player accidentally fell into it, but he was kind of limping there for a bit, but he seems fine. So I still, there's something about Jalen for the last, I don't know, month or two, I guess maybe since he came back from the ankle, where he's not. There are shots that the shot where he faked out whatever poor Wizard it was at the hoop, and then he had a point blank layup that missed. It's that's a shot that Jalen Brunson makes, 10 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, and he missed it. And Breen even pointed it out. So I still think there's something a little off about him. And yet I'm not worried. Not going to say I'm worried, and he'll be ready to go in full force for the playoffs. Mitchell Robinson, double in 17 minutes again against this Wizards team. That's almost the bare minimum. Mohamed Diawara, nice to see the ball go through the hoop. He was 4-6, 3 of 4 from 3. Great job by him. Jordan Clarkson continues to provide energy, provide a spark, and continues more importantly than either of those, or as importantly as either of those things, put the ball in basket. Alvarado saw a couple threes go down. That's great for him. And then we'll end on Tyler Kolek, who said, I was not aware of this at all earlier today. I knew he was in Westchester earlier today. I didn't know he set a team record with 42 points. 9 threes, 11 assists. Gets in the game with literally 5 minutes left, and just picks up right where he left off in Westchester, starts bombing threes, made 3 of 3 from behind the arc, 4 of 4 overall, finished with 11 points in 5 minutes, and helped secure a 30-plus point victory and a 145-point night. Shouldn't gloss over that. 145 points, a lot of points. I don't care who you play. I don't care what month it is. I don't care how much a team is trying to lose. And actually, now that I think about it, this might be, if it's not the Knicks season high in points, it's very close to their season high. No, they scored 146 back in December against Utah. That was the game that they started off 23-0. But man, this is the 4th time this season this team has put up at least 140 points. That's pretty ridiculous. And look, when they score, they don't lose. They are now, let's see here, 20-2, 21-2 when they score over 125 points. Look, 125 is a lot. A lot of teams are probably pretty close to undefeated when they score over 125. Here's the thing. The Knicks have scored over 125 now 23 times in 72 games. So you do the math. That's basically 1 out of every 3 games this team is scoring above 125 points. And it says something about their defense that their defense maybe is not going to win games by itself, but when they put up points, their defense is going to be good enough to win. And they get, before you scoff at that, there's quality wins in there, Cleveland on Christmas was a quality win. You could look at the San Antonio was one of the few losses. There's a Miami win in there. There's an Orlando win in there. There's the Denver win in there. Actually, both Denver wins in there. Minnesota win in there. Another Miami win in there. So, this team is there. I'll repeat it. They're good. They're just a really good basketball team. And we're about to find out over the course of the next 10 games just how good they are. Because, look, I'll update you. Long way to go still, 6.5 minutes, but Wolves are up by 10 on the Celtics in Boston. Sorry, make that 12 in Boston. A little Naz Reid jump hook. The freaking Wolves are on a roll. It looked like Boston was going to run away with this game. Julius Randle, the last I checked, he had was 1 of 10 from the field. I feel like he has to have done better than that since I last checked. No, he's still 1 of 10 from the field, and the Wolves are up 93 to 81. So we'll see what happens. But Knicks absolutely going to get a chance to, make some headway in the standings here before all is said and done. But they're going to have a challenging schedule ahead with which to, do that. So obviously one more game against a team that doesn't have a very good record, but don't sleep on the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans are about a 500 team for close to 2 months now. So that's going to be a real game. And then after that, it's go time. At Charlotte, we know what the Hornets could do. At Oklahoma City, enough said. And then at Houston, and then back-to-back at Memphis. Again, Memphis is one of those teams that has no right to be doing anything at this point organizationally. They certainly don't want to win. And then you look at some of their recent games, like Celtics had to go basically to the final buzzer to beat them by 5 recently. They beat the Nuggets. Look, a lot of losses for Memphis, but they will play you hard. And then quick back home for Chicago. That should be an easy one. And then the Final Four is fascinating. At Atlanta, Boston at home, Toronto at home, Charlotte at home. So, look, the Knicks will have an opportunity here. Like, if they play well, they play their game, I think, certainly 7-3 in those last 10 feels like, is it a reasonable expectation? I don't think it's unreasonable. Certainly 6-4, but it feels like my gut feeling is telling me, almost regardless of what happens tonight, if they want that 2 seed, I feel like it's got to be 7-3, and I feel like one of those 7 wins is going to have to be against the Celtics. And I know Boston has some hard games coming up, but that's what my gut is telling me. We'll see if I'm right. I don't know if 6-4 is going to get it done, but they're capable. So that's good news. Okay. I think that's enough for me. Shout out to everybody watching, taking time away, or if you're double screening it with the NCAA tournament. I know there's a lot of games going on right now. So let us go to our best bets, presented, of course, by Fanatics Sportsbook. We got back on our winning ways with a very nice 2 for 3 best bets performance tonight. So I took Mohamed Diawara over 6.5 points, felt really good about that. And sure enough, Mo rewarded my faith with how many did he end up having? Had a 12-point night. So I should have laddered Mohamed Diawara points tonight. That would have been very smart of me. Jose Alvarado, Jeff took him to get at least 7. Alvarado got 8. So 2 for 2. Unfortunately, Andrew Claudio, he decided to ride the Mikal Bridges hate wagon one stop too long and took Mikal Bridges under 12.5 points. Bridges ended up with 14. So it was quite literally, I think, the last Mikal Bridges field goal that did Andrew in. So he was we were literally one field goal away from hitting our parlay. Here's the thing. We're close. We're going to get a couple of parlays before all is said and done. If you do want to be there and you want to be betting along with us, when we hit these parlays down the stretch. And not only because, we're going to make everybody a couple of bucks, but more importantly, every best bets from here on in, Fanatics Sportsbook is giving away $100 in fan cash to one lucky person who bets at least $10 on the Knicks Film School Best Bets Parlay. These are in the Fanatics Sportsbook app before every game. They're up there a few hours before game time. So you can take a look, think about it, take it for a test run, the whole thing. And then, again, you bet at least $10, one lucky person, every single regular season game, including tonight. Somebody tonight who bet our parlay is going to be winning $100 in fan cash, which is not nothing. What have I got? I got this hat that I have become known for whatever reason. I got with my fan cash. So shout out to Fanatics Sportsbook, and we're going to get that parlay pretty soon, I promise. All right, next up. Super chats, I think, right? All right. I don't know how many super chats I don't know how many people were locked into Knicks Wizards tonight. But whether you were, whether you weren't, we're here for you. To start off with Michael Aaron. What's going on, Michael? My good buddy, Michael Aaron. I hope you're doing well, bud. I love our totally predictable Knicks, our best three-point shooter, Josh Hart, and our number one option, Karl Anthony Towns. So, look, there is much truth in jest. Why do I say that? Well, for one, Josh Hart, don't look now, percentage-wise, I think Josh Hart, amongst the starters at least, I think Josh Hart is the best three-point shooter on the team by percentage. Hold on, I'm checking this right now. Josh Hart, 39, is over 40% now. Yeah, he's the second best three-point shooter on the team. Deuce is at 42%. Josh Hart's at 40 now. And then the next closest guy is Mohamed Diawara. And then is Landry Shamet. Imagine you would have told someone before the season the Knicks' best four three-point shooters by percentage would be Deuce McBride. No one would be surprised at that. Josh Hart, Mohamed Diawara, and Landry Shamet. You could have won some moolah if you had bet on all of that stuff. And that among rotation players, I was going to say Jordan Clarkson's the worst, but that's not true because Alvarado's lower than him. Yabusele's lower than him. Yeah, so on and so forth. But yeah, and then, and that's really important, Michael, because I'll tell you one thing. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, second round series versus the Boston Celtics. They're going to be selling out to make sure none of those guys beat them from three. They will not be doing the same for Josh Hart. As Julius Randle just hits a three to put Minnesota back up 13 with a little over 4 minutes to go. Okay, here we go. Giddy up, Wolves. So yeah, Josh Hart, does he need to continue to be their best three-point shooter percentage-wise as a starter? No. But it's really important that he keeps hitting threes for their playoff success. And then as far as number one option, Karl Anthony Towns, man, it's crazy. There's 10 games left in the season, and they're the number 3 offense in basketball. You can't fake that. You can't. And yet it still feels like there are questions about what is the most efficient way for this team to go about offense. Is it Brunson doing Brunson things and everybody playing off of him? Is it putting the ball in Karl Anthony Towns' hands and playing off of him? Is it just equal opportunity, Mike Brown, motion offense, the whole thing? Everybody's cutting and moving and the ball's flying around. And I guess if there's one thing that I wish, one piece of one warm and cuddly blanket that I had to, wrap myself in, it's I wish I knew, I know the answer to the question. The best version of our offense is when the ball's flying around and they're just getting open corner threes, and that comes from kick and move, and the whole thing. But it's not always easy to do that against good defenses. So it's more when defenses are putting the screws to them, What's the best version of the Knicks offense then? And I wish I knew the answer to that question. And sitting here again, 10 games before the playoffs, I don't think we know the answer. I think there's different theories on it and different beliefs, but if you told me that Karl-Anthony Towns, offense running through him is a big part of it, especially the way he's playing now, I wouldn't tell you no. Thanks, Michael. Good way to start us off here. Ethan Jaffe, what's going on, Ethan? Knicks are top 5 in defensive and offensive rating. Guess the last team to do that. Not a common thing to do. So, funny you ask that. Shout out to any of my Knicks Film School newsletter subscribers on Substack, because I wrote on Monday, about a week ago, in my post-Oscars newsletter following the Warriors game. I was like, this game is my fault, the fact that it was so close, the Warriors game, because I had pre-written a whole newsletter because I wanted to just be able to enjoy the Oscars and not really worry about anything. And the theme of that newsletter was, is it, how notable is it? How important is it for a team to be top 5 in both offense and defense? And so I went through the last 10 years, and I'm not going to give you all of the information that I found, because I'm going to save some of it for the newsletter tomorrow, because I am going to finally use this newsletter that I wrote, which I did not end up using last Monday. But to answer your question, the last team to do that, 2 teams did it last season. The team that won the championship and the team that the Knicks beat in the Eastern Conference semifinals, who were the NBA champions the previous year. And oh, by the way, the previous year, the Celtics were top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating. Now, before you get too excited, I'm going to pee in the punch bowl a little bit. Over the last 10 years, out of all the teams that finished top 5 in both offense and defense, and I think there were 15 total, the Thunder and the Celtics the last 2 years were 2 of only 4 that won the championship. So it is not the sort of guarantee that you are going to win a championship. It's not a guarantee you're going to make the finals. It's honestly not even a guarantee you're going to make the conference finals. This is not what anybody cares about. But if you are curious, no team that's ever finished top 5 in both offense and defense has ever lost in the first round, or in the last 10 years has lost in the first round. So there's that, but yeah, I'll have more on that. And I went deep on some other things, and kind of, I found what I think is the more important indicator of a team that's going to either make the finals or win a championship, but I'll save that for the newsletter. Either way, Ethan, not an easy thing to do, not a common thing to do. Last 10 years, there's only, at most, there's 2 teams in a year, and a lot of times there's only 1 team that does it. So it'd be a very cool accomplishment if they were able to do that. Thanks, Ethan. Next up, David Crockett. David, you got to email me. Email knicksfilmschool@gmail.com so I can get your winnings from your chat of the night on Friday. Who knew all it took was Clarkson's passing to unlock Jeremy Sohan? That was I had that written down as one of my candidates for the play that most put me in the mood tonight. I don't know if I'm going to go with that. I got to think about it. Clarkson's been so good, man. He's been so good, and what a delight, to come into the year. I'll never forget it. When I was like doing research on like NBA individual awards and whatnot before the season, and I saw, I'm pretty sure it was Fanatics Sportsbook, because obviously I wouldn't look at any other odds on any other sportsbook, listed Clarkson as like the 3rd or 4th favorite to win the 6th Man of the Year. And then within, what was it? Within 3 months, he was out of the rotation. And for him now to be back in such a big way, and for him to be, and it's not even the fact that he's back and he's like basically being the guy that they thought they were signing him to be. It's this energy component that he's bringing, and he's the most energetic guy on the floor on any given night. Like there was even a play. It didn't end up, I don't think it ended up amounting to anything, but like as Minnesota goes up by 16 with under 2 minutes to go in Boston, oh boy, this would be such a nice thing for the Knicks to get. But yeah, there was a play on the other end, on the Wizards end of the court. Like the Knicks had either made a basket or they missed it and went out of bounds or something. But like there's Clarkson like hounding the inbounder or like hounding the guy he's inbounding the ball to. It's just like, it's really cool to see from him. And I will just say, for me, pretty unexpected for Jordan Clarkson of all people to become like the Knicks energy guy. But awesome to see, and he deserves every accolade for how professional he has stayed this entire season and how much he continues to be that way. So yeah, thanks, David. Appreciate you as always. Don't forget to email me. Jack Corcoran, what's going on, Jack? I love a St. John's Knicks double win day. Glad this one didn't need a buzzer beater too. Love when we don't fuck around. Let's go Knicks and let's go Johnnies. See, so two things. One, I have not watched a minute of NCAA tournament basketball. I did, however, see the play you're talking about because the exceptional New York basketball Twitter account tweeted out a clip of the young man who got the game-winning buzzer beater, and it was a hell of a shot. Good for him. Good for the Johnnies. Happy for all the college basketball fans here in New York. Who knows? Maybe I'll even try to catch part of their game whenever they play next. And so yeah, that was good. And then I love it when we don't fuck around. I actually think the Knicks did kind of fuck around in this game. I mean, this game was 38 all that Mike Brown had to call a timeout. They went on a 16-2 run basically right after the timeout. Then they fucked around a little bit more. It got down, I think, to under 10 points. Then they put their foot on the gas again and went into halftime with a 16-point lead. They got up 20, 8-0 Wizards run, timeout. And then they went up by 20 again. And it was a 5-0 Wizards run, and I don't think that caused the timeout. But like every time they like got ahead a little bit, like they would let down their guard and like stop playing basketball, and the Wizards would hit some threes, and it was like, all right, we gotta, look, they could have won this game by 50 if they had played it to the fullest of their ability. I mean, 50, 60, I don't know, if they had played it to the fullest of their abilities. They knew that. The Wizards knew that. Everybody in the building knew that. So credit to them. They give up a couple too many open threes ish, sure, but like that's all the Wizards could do. Was attempt some threes. They had no chance to do anything inside the 3-point arc against the Knicks defense, which is a compliment to them. So yeah, thanks, Jack. Hush Zoo, short and sweet, very good. I agree, Hush. That was very good. Very, very good. Thanks, Hush. Hannibal Miles, what's going on, Hannibal? Might go unnoticed, but props to Jordan Clarkson for improving his on-ball defense. Listen, I don't know who the first person to say it, and I don't know what the exact quote is, but what is it? Defense is like 80% effort. I don't know what percent is it. 60% effort, 70% effort, 55.5% effort, whatever it is. Most of defense is effort. And it's not that I think Jordan Clarkson wasn't trying as hard as he could on defense earlier in the year, but I do think that he has upped his intensity level to like, I mean, just it's crazy. He in the last 5 or 6 games, whatever it's been, he is giving more on the defensive end than anybody on the court on either team, and he's playing like a guy who is an undrafted rookie trying to get his contract picked up for next year or something. Like he has a team, as opposed to a guy who has made real money in his career and like his, he doesn't need another NBA contract if he doesn't. I mean, obviously he wants it, but no, it's all the credit in the world. And it's such a it's such an important thing as man, the Celtics are going to lose this game. This is awesome. It's such an important thing because look, Deuce will be back. He's going to play. I think Alvarado's going to play because I think they need a true, quote unquote, true backup point guard. Shamit's going to keep playing. That's three kind of smallish guys off your bench. But that's not to say that Clarkson isn't going to get his opportunities. He will get his opportunities because someone's going to be cold or someone's going to be in foul trouble or, they're going to need a spark or whatever. And when he gets his chance, he has to be able to hold up on defense because the second he gets in there, this is not fucking around time. So second round, Boston, if he has to get in, if he checks into the game because the Knicks need a little bit of spark or whatever, when it's on defense, Boston's going to attack him relentlessly, and he's going to need to be able to hold up. So the fact that he has held up, by and large, is really, really, really important. And it's a credit to him for doing so. Thank you, Hannibal. Let's take a quick pause here because the Celtics did just lose. Fuck Boston, as always. So with that loss, the Boston Celtics are going to drop to 47-24. The Knicks are 47-25. So tied in the win column, one back in the loss column, half game back overall, which means for the first time in a while, the Knicks control their own destiny for the 2 seed. Obviously, that would imply that, like, if they win out, they will get the 2 seed. They're not going to win out. Boston's not going to win out. But they do control their own destiny because of the game that they have remaining against Boston. That is significant. I went through the Knicks schedule before. I know I've gone through Boston's schedule before, but let's one more time. So Boston from here, they have 11 games left. They have Oklahoma City at home, but they have Oklahoma City coming to their building on Wednesday. So they get 2 days off now, and then they play Oklahoma City. Then on Friday, they play the Hawks, who finally lost the game. I watched a decent amount of their game against the Rockets. The Rockets shot very well from 3, and Atlanta couldn't hit a shot at all. And then Atlanta rebounded with a nice win over Golden State. So Atlanta still playing good ball. Then 4-game road trip for Boston. At Charlotte, then on a back-to-back at Atlanta. So Charlotte, very next night at Atlanta. Then at Miami, and then they finish up the road trip at Milwaukee. Milwaukee's the portion of their season in which they are trying to win games has ended. Then 4 of their last 5 are at home. Here are those games. Toronto at home. Charlotte at home. The one road game in New York. Then New Orleans at home. And then they close the season versus the Orlando Magic at home. So I think what you like about that is there is only one quote unquote gimme game on the schedule, and even that gimme game, it's on the road and it's the final game of a 4-game road trip against the Bucks. So, look, New Orleans second to last game. By that point, are they gonna shut down Zion, shut down Murray, shut down, Murphy, shut down Herb? They're playing all their guys right now. New Orleans, are they going to play all their guys in the second to last game of the season? I don't know. So maybe that's going to be a layup too. But every other game is a real game. Is a real game. Now, what did I say earlier? I said I think it's going to take 7-3 with a win versus the Celtics. So let's say the Knicks do that. Let's say they go 7-3 from here on in. And one of those wins is against the Boston Celtics. That would leave them 54. What is that? 54-28, right? Yeah, 54-28. Which means the Celtics would need to lose 54-28, which means the Celtics would need to lose 5 more games, one of those would have to be a game again. Excuse me. No, sorry. The Celtics would need to lose 4 more games. Assuming one of those is against the Knicks, are they going to lose 3 out of the other 10 games? Probably. Almost certainly. Are they? Yeah. Are they really going to go 8-2 in this schedule? Again, OKC, Atlanta, Charlotte, Atlanta, Miami, Milwaukee, Toronto, Charlotte, Knicks. Again, I'm not counting that one. New Orleans, Orlando. Yeah, no, I think 7-3 is probably their ceiling. So now that's it. That's assuming the Knicks win that game. If the Knicks don't I don't care about the tiebreaker. If the Knicks don't get that game against the Celtics in the third to last game of the season, I'd be shocked if they got the 2 seed and lost that game. It's possible. You never know. It's possible. Look, Boston could go out there and lose 3 out of their next 4. It's these teams are good that they're playing, but the Knicks also got to take care of business. It's a good result tonight. It's a good result if you care about seeding, if you care about home court advantage. Let's hope things continue in this general direction. Okay. We're going to do stat of the night, Kev? Let's do it. So Jonah Kaufman's Neato stat of the night is 2.04 points a minute for Tyler Kolek. Kolek scored 11 points in 5.5 minutes tonight. Good for 2.04 points per minute. The third most points per minute of any double-digit scorer in the NBA this season. Jonah, this might be your Mona Lisa, buddy. This is... or your Sistine Chapel, right? Because the Sistine Chapel was admired when it was done. The Mona Lisa didn't become famous until somebody stole it. He shot 4 for 4 from the field and 3 for 3 from 3, which means that he is now tied with Hart for the most points this season by a Knick in a game with perfect shooting splits. And I missed this part. It is third most points per minute of any double-digit score in the NBA this season, just beating out Bam's 83-point game. So tonight, Tyler Kolek bested Bam Adebayo. You heard it here first. That's it. Done. Full stop. Great stuff, Jonah. That was awesome. And you want to let's do Mood. Mood.com. You know what the deal is with Mood.com. If you go to Mood.com and you put in KFS at checkout, you get 20% off your order. If you're a first-time customer, take advantage of their wonderful functional gummies that puts you in exactly the sort of mood that you want to be in. What put me in the mood tonight? Tyler Kolek, probably the right answer. That was pretty fun. The Clarkson over the head pass to Sohan was fun. Josh Hart hitting his 7th, 8th, and 9th straight 3-pointers. That was fun. Cat had a great steal on, I think it was on Will Riley, that led to a Jalen Brunson mid-ranger, put the Knicks up by 20 for good. That was a lot of good, for as much as they kind of fucked around tonight, there's a lot of good. I didn't even mention small ball. Mike Brown went small. JB, Hart, McCall, OG, and Mo, which was a fun little interesting wrinkle that I thought, I wonder if Mike's thinking about stuff he might pull out in in the playoffs. You know what I'm going to go with? I'll give Tyler Kolek some love. Yeah, that's Tyler Kolek scoring. What did he score today? 53 points today? Yeah. So shout out to Tyler Kolek. You put me in the mood tonight. Again, go to mood.com. Don't forget to use code KFS. Okay. Let us finish up. We are getting out of here in under an hour, Kev. I promise you. Speaking of Kevin, here's another Kevin. Kevin Danishevsky. Love you, John, but a little negative last post game for my taste. We're really good, and it's all right if we play down to the competition as long as the job gets done, and it has. Kevin, I love constructive criticism. I appreciate where you're coming from. They did win the game, and they have won 6 games in a row. I didn't mind the fact that was a game, the whole game. But the the Nets came out and they were playing with their shorts on fire defensively. Jalen Brunson, horrendous game, truly horrendous game. What got me to the place that I was really not happy was twofold. It was the fact that they were up by 14 in the fourth quarter against that team, and they gave up a 17-0 run. That got me. And then, and look, call it PTSD from game one. It's fine. You want to call me out on that? Call me out on that. But like, you missed 3 fucking free throws at the end of the game, and the other team has a chance to win the game with a layup after you were up 5 with 20 seconds to go. Like, that's never going to be okay with me. I understand Brunson, Cat, these guys are human, like shit happens, the whole thing. But if it wasn't for, how the fourth quarter went down, I think I would have, if they had gone up by 14 and the Nets made a little push, but like it never got closer than like 5 or 6 points and they won by, 5 or 6 or whatever, I would have been fine. I wouldn't have made anything of it. It was the fact that we had to sweat that one out until the final buzzer is what got me. But look, you win or you lose, you win or you learn. And they won. And hopefully they learned a little bit too. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you. Sam Garcia, what's going on, Sam? Never a doubt with this one. No, they were not going to lose this game, not to the Wizards. Nice and easy victory. Was busy watching college basketball, so missed the first half, but let's go Knicks and let's go Johnnies. Yeah, I imagine you're not the only one who was watching college basketball today. My understanding is there's been a lot of good games, so yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Sam. I am AK Legend. What's going on? Always a good day when everyone getting a positive plus minus. Did everyone get a positive plus minus? I did not even realize that. Let me check on that right now. How many times has that happened this year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 14 guys played. The only guy who didn't play that was eligible to play was Trey Jemison III. Everybody had a positive plus minus. That's got to be rare, right? For 14 players in an NBA game to have a positive plus minus. That's a lot of guys. That's a lot. That's a ton. And yet only 3 guys with a plus minus over 16, which is interesting. It's Bridges, Hart, and Brunson. In a 32-point win. They had 40 in the fourth quarter. Knicks scored, here are the Knicks quarters tonight, 32, 36, 37, and 40. That's what you love to see. And yes, McCall, team high, plus 28. Let's go Knicks. Also, what on earth, Kolek? He had, I don't know what it was. What's today? March 22nd? Yeah. March 22nd. Let's mark it down. It's Tyler Kolek Day from here on in. Michael Trugman, what's going on, man? Macri and Co. First time, long time. Well, welcome aboard. Thank you for picking this Wizards ass kicking of all nights to pop your cherry. Appreciate all of you at KFS for showing up for all the games. Huge fan of what you do. Thank you for guiding this crazy ride we go on together. Well, it's absolutely our pleasure. We're honored to do it. Speaking on behalf not only of Kevin, who is on the 1s and 2s tonight, but everybody here at Knicks Film School. And we're just like everybody else right now, I think, and I include the Knicks, which is to say, I think we are all just kind of waiting for, what is it? April. I should know this. You would think that I would know this offhand. It was April 17th? 18th. Yeah. Waiting for April 18th. Waiting to start it off. It'd be interesting. I mean, people will be excited. People will be hyped up, regardless of how they close the season, whether they finish second, third. I guess there's still a possibility they finish season fourth, although especially with they made sure they got this win tonight. Like, I feel like something weird would have to happen for them to fall to fourth, but then again, you never know. Cleveland could get hot, but whatever. Regardless of where they are, people are going to be excited for April 18th, and I think, I'm sure the first round series is going to come with nerves. It doesn't matter unless it's Toronto. Toronto's literally the only team where I could see us going, or I could see like the fan base going into that series feeling like, all right, we got this, it's a dangerous team to take for, or to not take for granted. Like look past or don't give the proper respect to, because they play their asses off, and like they if you're not careful, they will run you up and down the court and run you out of the gym. But the Knicks, it's a good matchup. So, but it almost doesn't matter who it is. Miami, if Philly could get healthy, Orlando, if they could get a little healthier, certainly Charlotte, even Atlanta, the way they're playing, like all these teams, there's gonna be some nerves, but an expectation that things are gonna go well, and then round two is gonna be. I don't think it's going to be the same feeling as last year. I mean, I remember sitting with CP and doing a preview for the Post with Dexter Henry. I think we all picked Celtics to win the series. So there was hope, but there was an expectation that the Knicks were probably going to lose. This year, I think entering the second round, again, assuming they get that far, and nothing's guaranteed, I think there will be optimism the Knicks can win, maybe should win, but I'm already nervous for that potential series. I'll just say that. I'm already nervous for that potential series. So the roller coaster ride is just getting started, as they say, and we appreciate you sticking with us for the whole thing. Thanks, man. Danishevsky with another one. I don't know how, but I think Tyler Kolek will have a playoff moment. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. Like, here's the thing. I think they want a backup point guard out there. I think they telegraphed that when they signed, 57-year-old Malcolm Brogdon, and they convinced him to, leave the old folks home for long enough that he could try out for the big club, and then he ran out of Depends and said, "Sayonara, guys. We'll see you later." They laid it all out for you then, that they felt that the traditional backup point guard spot was important, and they laid it out yet again when they went out and got Alvarado, and they laid it out when they gave Kolek every opportunity to win the job. Like, the notion that because you could see Alvarado, because of the inconsistent shooting, and when he's not shooting, it's just like, again, he's still able to be a positive in the plus minus and do a lot of things in a playoff series where, if teams aren't guarding him and aren't respecting his ability to shoot at all, and they're dogging him and hounding him up the court. Yeah, I could see Kolek getting a shot. Let's say they're down 10 and Alvarado had a bad first half. Yeah, is it possible I could see Tyler Kolek starting the fourth quarter? 100%. So will he have a moment? Who knows? But do I think he will have the opportunity to have a moment? Yes. At some point, I think he will. Thanks, Kev. Oscar, what's going on, man? Sorry, this is not game related, but may I ask if Viagogo is valid for NBA tickets? If not, where should I get mine with reasonable prices? Let's go KFS. Let's go Knicks. I don't know. I've never heard of Viagogo before. I don't know what the fuck that is. I wish we had a ticketing app or something that was sponsoring us right now. We don't at the moment. Otherwise, I'd love to give you someone and give you a code. But like, there's a bunch of good ones out there. Like StubHub, SeatGeek, whatever else. So I would go with one of the more trusted sites. No shade at Viagogo, but like Viagogo could be some fucking dude in the back of his van. I have no idea. Kev, you ever heard of Viagogo? No, Kev's shaking his head. So no, I don't know. Wait, he's nodding his head. You have heard of it?
I've heard of them. Never used them. Don't know if it's reputable. My go-tos is usually StubHub, SeatGeek, Game Time. Actually, before all of those, straight Ticketmaster.
Yeah, I mean, do I need look?
You know what I'm saying?
Treat this like you treat buying toilet paper. Like you could save 17 cents, or you could just get the fucking Charmin and not be get the Charmin. Like it's worth the 17 cents. Yeah.
We have a
what? We have a defensive player of the game.
We got a Depoy talk.
Who do we got? Drum roll, please. Who's that? I can't even see who that is.
That is Carl.
Carl! Hey, Carl. Congratulations, Carl. You know what? I'm so happy because I mentioned that nice defensive play he had. I thought that Cat was excellent defensively tonight. I really did. I thought he was really, really good. My favorite Cat defensive moment of the night was actually a made basket. I thought when he hung with Jaden Hardy there in, what was that, the beginning of the fourth quarter, end of the third, whatever it was, and Hardy's trying to put the moves, could not get anywhere. And then Hardy just finally faded away, and he hit it was a crazy shot. It was a fallback 18-footer. But Hardy was just on one tonight. But like, I really super, super, super impressed with Cat defensively. Look, he's been great defensively pretty much the whole year. So give him all the credit in the world. And again, if you're looking for reasons to drink the orange and blue Kool-Aid, if we would have said asked before the season, what's the biggest hurdle the Knicks need to overcome, it would have been some version of can they survive defensively with Cat and Brunson on the floor? Well, guess what? Cat's not really a problem defensively. So, they should be able to figure the rest of this shit out. We'll see if they do. 53. Who held up that? Who's holding up that sign? I can't even see whose arm that is.
I think that's Deuce.
Well, I see it's Deuce, but I don't think that's Deuce's arm. Because look at the arm. The arm. Yeah, no, man. Look, Deuce is giving the peace sign. His arm, look at that arm. That arm is not coming from Deuce's right arm socket. It's coming from somewhere else. We don't know where it's coming from. Oh, you know who it might be? No, wait, no. I was gonna say,
is that Jose?
I think it's Jose. No, go back to the other view. For anybody listening this is probably incredibly frustrating if you're just listening on the audio. We're looking at a picture of someone holding up a sign that says 53, as in Tyler Kolek scored 53 points total today, 42 for Westchester, 11 for the Knicks. And someone is holding up a sign next to his head that says 53. Deuce is the closest guy there, but it's not Deuce holding up the sign. I think it's Alvarado. Unless, hold on, could it be McCall? Am I go to the close shot?
McCall's left arm is on Carl's shoulder.
Are you? Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, yeah. But then whose hand? Hold on. Whose hand is on? Oh, that I think that you know what it is. I think that's Deuce's hand on Kolek's shoulder.
Nah, Deuce's left hand is throwing up the deuce. It's like phantom people there. It might be Kevin McCullough Jr. Where's he in the picture?
This is bugging me out. This is like the Scarlett Johansson. You ever see the Scarlett Johansson clip where a woman walks behind her on the red carpet and disappears?
Yes.
That's what this is.
Because even if you look like behind Alvarado looking for like other legs, you can't really see anything. It looks like it's only Alvarado, Bridges, Kolek, and then Deuce there.
Hold
but
on.
that can't be anybody's left hand.
Here. Hold on. Give me a sec.
It's probably,
by the way,
it's gotta be Alvarado, man.
But this is Cat's third defensive player of the year, or defensive player of the game award. Hold on. Give me 1 sec here. I know I said I lied. I said we were going to get out of here under an hour, but we're clearly not. There's
some people in the chat saying it's obviously Alvarado.
So no, there's another. No. Okay, hold on. There's someone else back there. There's someone else back there, and you know how I know that? Look on the floor. So you see Macal's 2 feet in the sliders, right? You see his feet?
Yep.
Okay. You see Kolek with his hairy white legs in 2 black socks right behind Macal, right? There's toes behind Kolek's right foot. 2 toes in a slider. And that would make sense for that to be Deuce's foot all the way over there anyway. But Deuce isn't wearing sliders. Deuce was not dressed for the game. Deuce is wearing a sideline outfit. So that is somebody else's foot. Whoever's foot, and it's not Alvarado's foot, because Alvarado's, you see his feet, they're sneakers. So whoever's foot that is, that's who's holding up the sign. That's who's holding up the sign. And they have managed to hide themselves almost completely, were it not for these 2 toes.
Yes. Yes.
And just process elimination.
It's Brunson or Hart. Or Kevin McCullough. They all light skin.
I was about to say that is a lighter skinned gentleman looking at the hand and the arm. You're examining it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you examining.
I'm looking. I'm trying.
Yeah,
trying to peer through. I can't zoom in all the way though.
No. It's. I think you're right. I think it's. But doesn't the hand look small? Looks like kind of a small hand. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
I really want to know this. I need someone to get to the bottom of this.
I would love to know for sure. Ask Fred.
I'll see, because he has nothing more important to do. Okay.
All right.
This is great. I want to know who it is. Orchette was Kolek's 53 more ethical than Bam's 83. Yes, absolutely. I had no problem with Bam's 83. I loved it. I thought it was cool. Thanks, Orchette. Parrish, what's going on, Parrish? How you doing, buddy? I'm usually positive about our management, but oh my God, why this of all nights? But in hindsight, I actually think focusing to stay under the second apron instead of getting one more real legit piece like the Sunmu or Sadiq Bey was a big mistake. So Bey, I think is a different category. I don't think they were ever really in on Bey. I think they wanted to address the backup ball handler position. Now, Sunmu would have addressed that, and Sunmu has been awesome for Minnesota, as everybody with a brain knew he was going to be. I think the Knicks were probably in on Sunmu. The Bulls went for I forget what exactly it was a second or a couple of seconds, whatever it was, but also Dillingham. Here's the thing with these sorts of trades. You never know what teams are valuing. And the Bulls traded famously Alex Caruso, not for first round picks, and there were confirmed reports that there were teams willing to offer multiple first round picks for Alex Caruso. No, they wanted a young player who they felt had upside. Who did they go get here? A young player in Rob Dillingham, who they felt maybe had some upside. It's not a second apron issue because Tsumu's an expiring contract. So, Dosunmu, he's going to get a big raise, and maybe they have an under the table deal with Alvarado, or maybe they just have some internal confidence with Alvarado that he's going to be willing to opt into 4.5 next year and then extend off of that number if they even want to extend it. I don't know. I think it would be disingenuous to suggest that the reason Ayo Dosunmu was not a Knick is because the Knicks did not want to go over the second apron, especially because, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, because I know I don't want to put people to sleep. It is not as if trading for him would have guaranteed that they go over the second apron, and also it's entirely possible that they are intending to go over the second apron next season, but it is how and when they get over the second apron that matters, because if they are a second apron team, that basically I'm not going to go into details on it, but there's almost no universe that we can imagine where Giannis Antetokounmpo is a Knick next season and the Knicks are over the second apron. It's not possible. So what that means is they want to maintain optionality. The thing with the Sumo is they would have maintained the optionality because he's an expiring contract. So if you trade for him and then there's a Giannis thing that might happen and it's like, oh, well, shit, we got to let go of that cap hold. They could have done that. So, again, I don't want to oversimplify it. I would just push back a little bit on this, Paris, that again, Ayo's not here because of the second apron. Was it a factor? I'm not sitting here saying it wasn't, but I don't think that's why he's not a Knick. Thanks, man. Appreciate the comment. Andrew Claudio, you're welcome, Mikal. Andrew Claudio played the role of Mush today. Shout out to Bronx Tale. And who needs help next? Who should Andrew pick the under for next? Brunson kind of rebounded in this game, so maybe not. We don't need him. I don't know. I'd love to see Josh Hart set the most consecutive threes record for the Knicks. If he makes one more, he ties it. If he makes two more, he sets it. So maybe take Josh Hart under for threes for the next game, Andrew. That's it. All right, we're good. There we go. Under an hour and 10 minutes. That's not that bad. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. A lot of fun stuff coming up this week. Me and Jeremy are back at it tomorrow night. Very excited about that. Very excited he won the week. He picked the perfect week. They were perfect this week. And we got, usual allotment of post games and all the other good stuff, bells, whistles, and the whole thing. And I know I take full responsibility. A watch along was supposed to happen this past week, and it did not happen. It is going to happen this week. We are doing a watch along this week. It's my bad. It was a combination of the fact that there was just no juice for these games this week, and it was a little bit of a crazy week on my end. But there will be a watch along next week, so stay tuned for that. That's it. All right, we'll talk to everybody later. Thanks, Kev, for being on the ones and twos, and yeah, peace out.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app.